Welcome to Kapeleris Ultimate Talk TV. Be inspired, informed, and elevate your mind one step at a time. Talking about life, real estate, business, and beyond. Your host, author, speaker, real estate broker, Carmela Zita Kapeleris.
Welcome to Kapeleris Talk TV. One of the most important things to do when you're buying a home is get a qualified home inspection. Here to tell us more are home inspectors Panos Lousaides and Gleva from a buyer's home inspection. Welcome.
Hi.
Thank you for being here. Tell me, what is one of the biggest challenges of your industry today?
The biggest challenges in our industry is that it's not regulated. So basically anyone can call themselves a home inspector, grab a flashlight and go to a house to do an inspection. That is not correct. We are working towards fixing that issue. You need to get a certified home inspector, one who has experience, one who has gone through training, and one who has the tools to help you protected with the purchase you're doing.
Yes, that's very important. Now, why is there no training and no regulation for your industry?
It's something that's been discussed for maybe 20 years now. We are at the process now with a bill that has been put forward. It's Bill 165,
Right.
the Home Inspectors Act, as it's called. So its purpose is to create the governing body that will bring licensing into place. Every other trade is licensed. Real estate, realtors are licensed, so it's time for home inspectors to be licensed as well. That will provide consumers with the confidence that they're working with qualified people to do this very important job.
Yes, and when can we expect to see more regulations and licensing of home inspectors? Is that coming up anytime soon?
So several of the provinces in Canada have already moved towards licensing of their home inspectors, British Columbia and Alberta. In Ontario, they're working towards that framework, and at a Buyer's Choice Home Inspection, we're hoping that that framework is in place by the end of the year, and we can see some regulations start to come out in the coming year.
That's great. Now, how about insurance? Insurance is a big thing with home inspectors. Not every home inspector or home inspection company has insurance, correct?
Correct, and it's very important. It will actually be one of the issues that will come with licensing, that everybody has to have insurance. There's two types of insurances. One is liability insurance and one is errors and omissions, which is the most important one and the most costly one. And that is the difference between a cheap inspection and a well-priced inspection. Because a cheap inspection, that home inspector doesn't have insurance. So there's no protection for the consumer in that case, if anything were to go wrong. That's where insurance is very important. At our company, everybody has to have both insurances, so we protect our clients.
Right. In our industry, in the real estate industry, home inspection is very important for us. We always recommend home inspections to the buyers, even on a multiple offer where they're tending to compete. So I think it's very important that buyers don't cut corners and try to get their uncle or somebody in the trades to do a quickie home inspection for them. I think, you know, that is totally wrong, that you could run into troubles. How should one go about hiring a home inspector? Where do they go to get that information?
Okay, Jeff?
Yeah, CMHC has a great resource for choosing a home inspector. They give you a lot of great information and a lot of great tips on how to look for a properly qualified home inspector. And I think the big thing is really doing your research, looking at what you get for the money you're going to invest in that home inspection. So there's varying degrees of what a home inspector will do when they come out to a property that you're looking at. It's really important to know what you're going to get for that money.
Yes, of course. And I guess ask your realtor. I mean, your realtor should have at least 2 or 3 qualified and certified home inspectors that they work with that they can recommend.
Exactly, I agree with you 100%. You ask your realtor about a mortgage broker, you ask your realtor about a lawyer, about a moving company. Why not a home inspector? A good realtor will have 3 or 4 certified, insured home inspectors that they will recommend. Okay, they have a lot of experience. They've seen a lot of home inspectors actually in action. So they know who's good and who is not good. So ask your realtor, get the referrals, call the home inspectors, do your own research, and decide on who you want to work. But yes, the referral from the realtor is a great source.
Yeah, because for us it doesn't always stop. It doesn't stop at the home inspection. There, after the home inspection, there is a report, and that report has to be dealt with if there are any deficiencies. So if the home inspector and the realtor are working together, they can usually come up with compromises and solutions to any of those deficiencies.
Exactly.
So I think that's why we have to be a team, right? As opposed to finding somebody just that the buyer will find on their own in the yellow pages.
Yeah.
Yes, so that can make or break a transaction.
We believe that the team is extended. You have a lot of parties involved. You got a seller, you got a buyer, you got a listing agent, you got a buying agent, you got a lawyer. It's a big team, and the home inspector is part of that big team, working for everybody at the same time, trying to educate the client, trying to show them the true condition of the house, right? So we are part of a big team. We're not working for one person specifically. We're not supposed to, but we're working for the whole team
Exactly.
to help with the transaction.
Yes, and that's what you're paying for when you hire a realtor. Those are the services that you should be getting you should be getting the whole team, you know. Okay, even if a house looks like a model home, you never know what is behind the walls or up in the roof or underground, right?
Right.
So you should always have a home inspection. Let's look at these pictures and discuss the different issues that we have here. Okay, our first picture is mold in the attic. How do you detect it, and how is it caused?
Okay. Mold in the attic is usually caused by lack of ventilation or from the most usual thing, again, is bathroom ventilators venting inside the attic. That's the most usual causes. The other cause would be actual leaks. You made a very good point there that however good a house looks, you don't know what's in it. Nobody will go in an attic when they're going for a 15, 20-minute visit at a house.
Right.
That's our job. Okay, so mold is visible in the attic. It's not something that you need special equipment or anything like that. We can see mold. It has still to be tested in a lab to say that it is mold 100%. Okay, that's the rule. But mold is visible in the attic. You don't have to use special equipment or anything like that.
Right, right. And Jeff, what can you do about mold?
That's a great question. So there are many professional mold remediation companies out there operating in all the major centers. And they can provide you with a realistic cost estimate on what that remediation is going to cost.
Okay.
And one of the key things you're going to need to do if mold is found in a potential home that a buyer wants to purchase is not only remediate or remove the mold, they're also going to want to fix the initial problem that caused the excess moisture. So there's two different activities there that they'll need to do.
Okay, and you recommend those people that can help?
Absolutely. Your home inspection professional can really help you find a reputable company to assist you with that project.
Perfect. Next is aluminum wiring and knob and tube. Is this found mostly in older homes?
Yeah, aluminum wiring and knob and tube is in older homes.
Yes.
I'll talk about aluminum wiring. It's in a specific period of time in the 60s and 70s that was used when copper was too expensive. What happens with aluminum wiring, as we see in the picture, is the outlets or the light switches overheat because of the way aluminum wiring conducts electricity. There's nothing scary about it. What we always recommend is to have an evaluation of the distribution system of the house by an ESA certified electrician. You have to hire a professional, and they will certify that the distribution system is fine. As long as the outlets, the breakers, everything is wired properly and they're the correct type, there's nothing to worry about with aluminum wiring.
Okay,
Okay.
great. Knob and tube?
Knob and tube wiring was used quite some time ago. So it is an old two-conductor system. There's actually no ground wires on a knob and tube system. So it does not meet the needs of today's electronic equipment, those computers and electronics that are really affected by power surges and need to have grounding for not only safety but for operation.
Yeah.
Knob and tube wiring, when it's found, is an upgrade opportunity for that potential home buyer to really have that wiring replaced so that it meets today's needs.
How costly is that?
It really depends on the size and the layout of the house. It's uncommon to find a home with knob and tube wiring that hasn't had some type of upgrade done to it already. But that would be a project that you would really have to partner with an electrical company to come in and estimate for you.
Older parts of Toronto, right? 50 years and older, correct? Not so much in Mississauga, new developments, Milton.
Yeah, older parts of Toronto.
Right. So we don't have to worry about that in Mississauga that much. Here are two pictures of a plumbing leak. What we see with the naked eye and what you see during a home inspection with infrared, right?
So
explain
yeah,
that?
it's again what the consumer sees and what we see by using thermal imaging technology. That was a leak from the exterior.
Yes.
The basement was carpeted. You couldn't actually see anything. As soon as we did the thermal imaging, we can immediately see the moisture there. We did some more research and we saw from outside where it was coming. There was a crack on the foundation, negative grading. So we know exactly where that's coming from and how you're going to repair that.
Right. Here again is infrared. Two more pictures of how moisture penetration is detected. What can you do about moisture penetration?
So this is a great picture and a great illustration of something that we find with the thermal imaging camera that's not visible to the naked eye. This is a picture of a ceiling that had no evidence of a moisture leak to the naked eye, but we run the thermal imaging camera over and we can see a cold spot.
Right.
That's then followed up by a moisture test with a moisture meter, an electronic moisture meter, and we confirm the presence of moisture in the drywall and behind the drywall. And in this case, there was a bathtub on the second story that was leaking onto the drywall on the first floor. So we've narrowed down where that problem had originated and what that client can do to solve that issue.
And what can the client do to solve the issue? What's the solution?
So for us, it's very important to show the client the solution of the problem, not just show them the problem. In this case, we had a plumbing leak from a drain, which can happen to a house over a period of time. The specific house was almost 20 years old. So the drain leaks are unpredictable. So what you had to be done there in that specific case, you had to cut the drywall on the ceiling, repair the leak, probably just replace the drain, and problem solved. It's not a big issue, but it's something that could create more problems in the future and get worse.
That's right. And that's from old plumbing.
Yeah, it's an older home, it's wear and tear. Drains may leak at some point in time. That's not something that anybody can predict or anybody can tell you. Even the homeowner didn't know in this case.
Yeah, the thing is to catch it at the preliminary stages
Exactly.
of it. Right. Okay, structural damage in the foundation. What do you recommend the consumer do with that situation there?
This picture is very interesting. That was actually a structural issue with displacement, as we call it. So the foundation was actually displaced like this as well. So in this case, we recommended a structural engineer to take a look at this property, and he will then give the advice on what needs to be done. The good thing is that this was foundation for a garage, not for the actual home, so we didn't have leaks or anything like that. But still, we recommended a structural engineer to take a look at that and see. This is not something we see often. It's very rare. I've done hundreds of inspections, and it's rare to have displacement, but it is there.
Right.
Okay. And in that case, you need an engineer to do a more thorough research and tell you what needs to be done.
What about those hairline cracks in the basement? What should a consumer be worried about, and what is just normal settling of the house?
Yeah, that's a great question. So when you have hairline cracks in a foundation, some of that is just from the natural curing process of the concrete after they pour the foundation and the house is constructed. And some of it when it's a directional crack or you see moisture coming through, you know that there's some more implications and some more work that needs to be done. Again, we would recommend working with a foundation company, a crack repair or leak repair company to really evaluate that, seal the leak permanently so you don't have any more damages to the interior finishes.
Great advice. Okay, the next picture. This is a structural problem with the deck. This is a pretty bad deck. What do you suggest?
That's a funny story. That was a pre-listing inspection done in Toronto, booked by the homeowner. There was no realtor. The homeowner was trying to sell the home by himself.
Yeah.
So he called and we did the pre-listing inspection, and he was very proud of the deck. So when I started talking to him that his deck is really a safety issue, he was upset. But it is a safety issue. The deck was not constructed at all correctly, not correct support, no footings. You can see the post bowing. The joists are already sagging. So this was a very unsafe, and I was just joking with colleagues saying, you know what, don't have a party with 3 or more people. The ultimate thing is that when you want to do anything at your house, hire a professional to do it. You're going to pay a bit more, but hire a professional. Don't cut corners, because in the end, it may be a safety issue that may hurt a member of your family or somebody you know.
Exactly, exactly. So most people think that home inspections are just for buyers, but actually they're very beneficial for sellers. And if they have a home inspection before putting their house on the market, it could save them thousands of dollars when it comes to the negotiations. Don't you agree?
That's a very good point. And a pre-listing inspection is what we would call it when you're having your home inspected before you're putting it on the market for potential buyers. And some of the great things that you can do with a pre-listing inspection, when there are small issues or deficiencies found, you can have those rectified and the report amended to show that you've already fixed those small issues before the house is listed. And if there's anything that's a larger deficiency or a larger concern, you can get a realistic estimate on what the repair would be on that deficiency, so you're not subject to somebody's perception of what that repair might cost.
True, true. That's just really good. And in today's market, where we're experiencing multiple offers, you can actually probably get more money by having a pre-listing home inspection already ready for the buyers.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Those potential buyers that would not want to go in with an absolutely clean offer with no home inspection can now see the results of an inspection on the potential home they're looking at buying. So you actually would garner more offers than you would without a pre-inspected home.
Right. It gives the seller an advantage, and the buyer has more confidence when they buy. So all around, it's a good thing.
And if I can add something to that, when we're doing a pre-listing inspection, it's not about showing a clean report that the house is perfect, because no house is perfect. We all know that. But you're showing a realistic report of the true condition of the home. And I've had so many pre-listing inspections done at houses that needed to be gutted. But what that shows the potential buyer, and I've had buyers tell me, thank you so much, because this gave us a list of the things we have to do.
Right, exactly.
It's not just changing the kitchen or the flooring, but there were other things that they had to deal with. And they were thankful that they had a list, they could budget correctly now, and they bought the house in confidence. They didn't have to worry about anything. So it's not about a clean report.
No, it's not about that. Yeah. How many pages is your report on average?
We are our reports are very thorough. We put a lot of pictures. Pictures are 1,000 words. So on average, our reports are about 40 pages long, very detailed, component by component, showing maintenance tips for the buyers, how to keep your house healthy, which is very important, and also the reference pictures showing exactly what we are talking about, so that the average buyer who doesn't know much technical language can understand what we're saying.
Right. And do you usually start outside the house, the exterior, and then what's the process? You work yourself inside?
Yes.
To the basement,
I mean, each inspector will have a different method, but what we do, we start from the outside, and I always tell my clients that the outside tells us what to expect inside. So we start from all the exterior parts of the house and then go inside, and depending on what your method is, personally, I start from the basement, making my way up.
Okay, so outside, you go up in the roof, then you come inside, you go to the basement and work your way up to the attic.
Yep.
Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, well, yeah, that's very good. And What type of warranties do you offer with your home inspection?
Jeff, you wanna-
So we have a great package that a Buyer's Choice Home Inspections has put together for our clients, and it starts off with a concierge service that will set up the utilities for any client that has a full home inspection with us. They make all the calls and do all the legwork for our clients to set all their utilities up. We have a 90-day warranty that we put on most of the mechanical, structural, and electrical components of the home. There's no deductible on that warranty, and it's good for 90 days, or if you
That's
have a long
great.
closing, for 22 days past the date of closing.
That's great. And when you have a home inspection, who do you expect to be there? The buyer and the seller and the realtor, or who do you prefer? Just the person that hired you?
Generally, we would want the client there. That way we can walk them through everything that we find in the home while we're doing the inspection. We can talk to them about the great characteristics and the great qualities the home has, and answer any of the questions they have about any of the things that we do find that may need updating or upgrading later on. And make sure
Okay.
that they truly understand exactly what they need to do when they take possession of the home.
Okay. So you also offer a full concierge service, which we're going to put up at the end of the show. And we thank you so much for being here. This has been a very informative segment. Can you let people know where they can reach you?
Okay, so my franchise area is Vaughan and Caledon. You can reach me at 416-997-3644, or at my website is vaughan.abuyerchoice.com.
Great. Jeff?
And my area is the Guelph and Wellington County area. I can be reached at 226-821-4195 or guelph.abuyerchoice.com.
Thank you so much. This was great information.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for having us.